UFC 305 takes place this Saturday, and these are my main card predictions. So, starting off the main card in the welterweight division, you've got a matchup between fan favourite Li Jingliang versus Carlos Prates. Carlos Prates is currently on an 11 fight win streak, 9 of those wins coming by finish. Li Jingliang is coming off a back injury, I'm pretty sure. He's getting up there in age now. All signs are pointing to a Carlos Prates win, but Li Jingliang does have nice suits, so I'm picking Li Jingliang to get the job done here. Next up in the heavyweight division, we've got Tai Tuivasa versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Now, this right here is probably going to be the fight that gets Tai Tuivasa released from the UFC, if I'm being honest. So, he's kind of went on a downward spiral. If you look at his last fight against Tybura, that loss there just looks a million times worse because Tybura in his last fight there against Spivak arguably looks like the worst heavyweight in human history. That performance was ridiculous. He lost me a load of money. The guy, I don't know why his team didn't go in there and fight if he was just going to do that. But anyway, nonetheless, this is going to be a battle of the strikers. Tai Tuivasa will not have to worry about the grappling in there this time round because Jairzinho just is not a grappler. However, he is a very, very talented kickboxer that hits extremely hard as well. Now, both guys do like to throw leg kicks. Tai Tuivasa obviously targets the outside with the outside leg kick. Jairzinho is more kicking the inside of the leg. I mean, Tai Tuivasa can win this because, like I said, it's going to be a striking matchup and Tai Tuivasa can knock anybody out on the feet. But I feel like it's just his punch resistance isn't there anymore. Jairzinho can fight a very patient fight. We've seen that against Shamil Gaziev where he's working off the jab really well. I don't know. I think Tai Tuivasa gets stopped here early second round. I think this is the last we see of Tai Tuivasa. Unfortunately, in the UFC, he is a fan favourite. He is entertaining, but I don't know. I just think this is the end of the road for him. Jairzinho by second round KO. Next up, we have got Gamrot versus Dan Hooker. Mateus Gamrot is without a doubt the boogeyman of the lightweight division. Nobody wants to fight this guy. Nobody calls out this guy. Now you could say, well, he's boring and he doesn't have a big name. Which is fair enough. That is true. Is Gamrot the most entertaining fighter? Absolutely not. But just look at some of the names that he has got under his belt in the lightweight division. You've got Arman Tsarukyan, who is now the number one contender. You've got Jalen Turner. You've got RDA. The list goes on and on. Gamrot has beat some serious opponents. Rafael Fiziev is on there. Don't forget. Dan Hooker's coming off, a broken arm. Did he break his other arm as well? Anyway, he had broken arms or broken arm that kept getting injured. This just is not a good matchup for him. Now, I can't see Gamrot staying on the feet with Dan Hooker for too long because Dan Hooker is a dangerous striker. Now, Gamrot could get clipped with a knee here because Dan Hooker does throw really effective knees and he can time them really well. But I just feel like Gamrot is going to be able to use his chain wrestling in there, take Dan Hooker down, potentially get a sub, maybe late third round if he can just wear Dan Hooker out. But this is more than likely going to be a very boring, one-sided decision in favour of Gamrot, in my opinion. And if Gamrot is able to win this, then he puts himself really next in line for a title shot outside of Arman Tsarukyan. Next up, co-main event, Kai Kara-France, Steve Usyk. Kai Kara-France, I was going to say he's a bit overrated, but that's a lie because I don't think anybody rates him that highly for him to be really overrated. I'll just keep this one short anyway. This is going to be a great fight. This is probably going to be fight of the night, in my opinion. This or the main event is going to go down as fight of the night, in my opinion. Two very high-level strikers. Steve Usyk arguably beat Pantoja. I personally disagree. I think Pantoja won that fight, but Steve Usyk did look great in there. Steve Usyk, very tall for the division, great boxer. He's got great fast hands, and he is powerful. He's been more active than Kai Kara-France recently. I'm going to side with Steve Usyk in there, to be honest. I think he gets the job done against Kai Kara-France. And finally, we are on to the main event. Dricus du Plessis, Israel Adesanya. This fight has been wasted, in my opinion. This could have been one of the biggest fights in UFC history if they give it a long enough build-up. If they give this fight a world tour like they done McGregor-Aldo, this fight would have exploded. And if they had to put it in Africa, even though it's in Australia, even if they'd done the world tour, it still would have been a mega fight. But anyway, when this fight got announced, I was certain that Adesanya was going to beat him. I think Dricus du Plessis can lunge in a bit. Adesanya is a really smart counter puncher as well. The leg kicks, I thought Adesanya would have done a good job landing the leg kicks on there. And Adesanya has really underrated takedown defense, especially against the cage, which is where Dricus du Plessis, normally, unless it's trips, etc., that's where he really does get his takedowns, is up against the cage. I thought Adesanya would have done a good job in there against him. But then I went back and watched Dricus du Plessis. Now, is this guy good on the eye to watch? No, he looks shit. But the guy's very technical in there. Dricus du Plessis can fight out of either stance in there. He's very powerful, very durable, and he seems to have the gas tank to go all 5 rounds. And by going all 5 rounds, keeping on the front foot, which is very important. We've seen Adesanya struggle in there when Sean Strickland was constantly on the front foot. Now, Dricus du Plessis won't throw the volume of Sean Strickland. He doesn't have the jab of Sean Strickland. However, he can mix it up well offensively wrestling, which I think can give Israel Adesanya problems in there. And also, talking about Dricus du Plessis with his offensive wrestling, he does a good job of, once he gets his opponents down, he can control them in there, and he's not going to lie on Adesanya like Jan Blachowicz did. He will work, he will look for ground and pound, he will look for submissions. At this moment in time right now, I'm picking Dricus du Plessis to beat Israel Adesanya by decision. Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. I think DDP is going to get the job done here by decision. After that, I don't know what's next for Adesanya, but I think Dricus du Plessis is going to get the job done here. Those are my main card predictions. Let me know yours in the comments below. And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I'll see you again in the next one.